When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eye, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me.
Good morning. It is indeed a lovely day. I'm talking today. I've got Amina Hill in the studio talking about the Black Solidarity Conference at Yale happening. When is it happening, Amina?
It's coming up this weekend. People start coming in on Thursday, and then they'll be leaving out on Sunday.
Okay, so what's the story with this Black Solidarity Conference? What are we doing?
So with the Black Solidarity Conference, we have about 700 to 800 Black students from across the nation come to Yale's campus. It's organized completely by students. It's the largest undergraduate conference in Yale, and it's the largest Black undergraduate conference in
so
the
New
entire
Haven's
nation.
going to be blackity black black this weekend.
Oh, blackity black black black.
So now it's no accident that it's in Black History Month.
Of course not.
All right, so tell me how you got involved with this, Amina.
Coming into school, that was like one of the things one of the reasons I chose to come to Yale, just because I'd seen like a lot in the past. We've had like Angela Davis, Cornel West, we've had J. Cole perform. We've had all of these cool things, and it's just like a good thing where you can actually share your experiences across different schools, especially being at like a predominantly white institution. I was like, okay, this looks like a fun thing. So my freshman year, I got on board. So this is my third year on board.
Okay. And it's Amani.
Yes.
Amani Hill. Where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
What? Okay. So how long have you been here? What year are you in?
I'm a junior.
Okay. So what are you studying?
I'm studying film and media studies.
Oh, so you want to be a filmmaker? You want to be the next Ava DuVernay?
Perhaps.
Or Julie Dash? Okay. So you all, how many of y'all are organizing this?
There's about 20 of us on board.
And how long has this been going on?
We start at the beginning we really start in the summer. So for a while, we usually start, we have the conference every February, and then we take a little break for a few months, and then we get started by the time we leave for summer.
Okay. So this is a really big deal. And so how do y'all pay for this?
We have corporate sponsors, and that's really how we get the bulk of it. We sell tickets, so we get a lot of money just based off of ticket sales. Those are our two biggest things for revenue.
Wow. So this information goes out across the country to other college campuses, and kids show up? Wow.
They show up.
Really? Oh, shoot. I don't know if Yale's ready for Howard. I don't know if they're ready for Yale to become an HBCU for the weekend.
It's always fun.
It's always fun? Okay, so what year is this in?
For this one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the 24th. So
this has been going on for 24 years?
Yes.
I think I just heard about it last year.
Oh, it's been going on. This is the 24th year. Next year is the 25th. It's going to be big.
Oh, it's going to be lit. Okay, so tell me some of the things y'all got planned.
So we have a series of different just like talks. So this year's theme is Still I Rise, navigating collective Black trauma into and basically we look at like surviving and just like what
That's
what it's
Black
like
in America.
what it's like to have to like navigate a lot of what it's like being Black and keeping your mental health in like the forefront of your mind and just like collectively trying to heal and just looking at how resilient we are.
Wow.
We're very like resilient people. So we have like talks, people coming in talking about like different tactics for how to maintain and preserve your mental health. We have people coming in talking about like how to eat well, spirituality, just like all of those things. And then every year we also we have a concert. We have
Who's coming for the concert?
We have Sweetie coming, so that'll be nice. And we just have like, of course, parties, and you gotta celebrate every type of way there is. So it's gonna be a nice weekend.
Who's the keynote this year?
I'm Rebecca Walker.
Oh, I know Rebecca Walker. That's Alice's daughter. She's a Yalie. She used to spend quite a bit of time here. That's very nice. Excited. I've not seen her in a very long time.
Yeah, she'll be in New Haven this weekend.
All right. These are her old stomping grounds. Although she's a grown-up person now with a family, so I don't know how much stomping she's gonna be doing, but that'd be nice to see her. Okay, so what is she gonna talk about? Do you know? What's her theme?
It's just she has like a lot of work just like dealing with like Blackness, mental health, and just like what it is to be Black in that experience. So we're gonna see. She's gonna be pretty on theme, and I'm excited to see what she talks about.
Me too. I'm excited. So where do y'all hold this at?
We have it. A lot of it's on Yale's campus. The final keynote dinner is at the Omni, and then we have the concert at Toads.
Okay. And so So I don't know if I know Sweetie's music.
She's a West Coast rapper, emo rapper. She has like Icy Girl, I think, is one of like her biggest songs.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I got teenagers. That's the other way I know. Oh, so that'd be cool. All right. So this is a big deal. Y'all organized, got all these big name people coming. All right. So all weekend starts when? Friday?
Well, people start getting in on Thursday, but the events really kick off.
And where are people staying?
We have some people staying in hotels. We have some people just staying with Yale students.
Okay. And so how are y'all eating?
We feed some of the meals. We provide some of the meals. We provide lunch and we provide dinner. Sometimes we have like morning reception. Some of our sponsors might want to host events where they might provide food. Other times people can supplement that with all these restaurants in New Haven, and then we have the big keynote dinner. Figure it out.
All right, so where the party's at?
Where the party's at? It's so interesting because we only have the concert is like a party.
Okay.
But then we have like a after party after the keynote. Those are the only like BSC sponsored parties. But every single year you hear stories about the people that had hotel rooms, all these schools, and threw their own little parties and mingled. And we looking like, here I was sitting here staying up late trying to clean up. They out here in their hotel rooms bonding. I said, okay, do what you do though.
So talk a little bit about your experience at Yale. How's it going? When you first got here, what was it like?
Yale has been very interesting, especially like going home. Like when I left for Yale, everyone was like, when I came back, like, oh my goodness, like tell me how it is. And I honestly didn't. I chose Yale also because of the Afro-American Cultural Center. Both of my parents went to a school where like they had a similar thing, and that's like how they defined their college experience. So I was like, okay, that's where I want to be rooted. That's where I want to be like my home. And so that definitely has defined my Yale experience. Way more Black people than I would have thought. And I think Yale has been definitely a time for growth, I would say. I think that I'm getting more like personally and socially out of Yale than I really care for academically, honestly.
Okay. Well, that's real talk. Okay. So, you're in your junior. You got one more year.
One more.
And so what are you planning? What's your thoughts moving forward? Or have you gotten that far into thinking?
I'm feeling it out. I'm interested in like film, but like also like music. And so like kind of like where those intersect. So like music videos and things like that. I've been
So are you shooting some? Are you making some?
Not right now.
Okay. But you've made some.
And like I like editing things and like right now I'm trying to feel out where exactly I want to land in that industry.
There's a lot going on in the dirty. There's That's where people go.
That is.
Atlanta is like the Mecca. So
they love it.
So I like Atlanta too. I wish it was on the water.
Yeah, that
would make it right for me. And I would be in Atlanta. If Atlanta was like Savannah, I'd be like right there. But it's not. So I don't want to drive 800 miles to get to the beach.
True.
So I like living in New Haven where I can just like any direction I can go to the beach for free.
For free.
So, you know. So have you been enjoying New Haven? Because I know they tell y'all don't venture out beyond the Ivy Gates.
I love New Haven just because it's so, like, when I need to leave Yale, you can certainly leave that area. And I think when I was first visiting, I was like with my mom, and like it was like all those like areas they say quote unquote like don't go near, and I said this looks just like my grandma's house. Like I said, oh, I feel comfortable.
Like I can walk through there, ain't nobody gonna bother me.
Yeah, I said, this like look like home. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm a little offended. I said, this what? Me and my mom were like, this what they talking about? So I said, this is perfect. When I get real, if I get too tired of it, I'm like, let me just go walk somewhere.
Let me just walk a couple of blocks over and get with the peoples. You know,
it's different.
Yeah, because it's different. It's different. It's different. So have you made any friends here?
I definitely have made friends. I've made friends. I've learned a lot about what friends are to me. I don't know. I think I'm definitely in a place now. I think in the beginning I was very like set on like I have to have this certain group of friends or like this certain type of friend. And now I'm just very much like half of my friends aren't even friends with each other because I'm like I'm friends with people for specific reasons and not for like the sake of being friends with like a group or something. So I think
that's good. How's the dating life? Can you date on this campus? What's going on?
I try to be positive. I do. I try not to complain. I try my best. You know, some people figure it out. There's a lot of people who don't. I'm just trying to be one of the people that figure it out, but not there. Certainly not there yet.
I'm always interested in how this works on anybody's campus, whether it's a Black campus or private white institution campuses. So it's challenging everywhere. But I'm always interested in what young people do and how they maneuver these waters. So, all right. So the Black Solidarity Conference is what is its purpose?
It's really just to unite, to essentially remind each other that like we got you, like we all got each other, and that's really like what at the principle of like being Black is like we just always have each other. Also just like teaching, coming and like learning different things. People like there's like so many social events, but like a lot of times what our best feedback is on like the panels or like on like a talk that people have heard. Just getting like encouragement for like from people that are coming to speak because they have more experience. We're all college students, so it's kind of like we're still young, we're trying to figure it out, and being able to hear so many diverse perspectives from each other but also from like the speakers and the people with experience is always really valuable. So
how important do you think is this Black Solidarity Conference to Black students?
Oh, it's important. This year we like sold out. We have different rounds of tickets. We sold out every single one in under like 15 minutes, except for I think our overflow, which at the end that one took like a day and a half. And like some people couldn't come just because like we sold out so quickly. There were so many emails that they were like, I literally like if we released tickets at 11, there were some people like I was on there at 11:01 and they were sold out, and it was like people are so upset, and it's just kind of like we don't have the capacity to be able to do like over 800 right now. And well, that's something that we're looking into because the demand is so high. But it's so interesting because people really we had to put a cap on the amount of students that could come. We capped it at 40 students per school. You have schools that are like, we wanted to bring 60, we wanted to bring all these people.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's interesting just to see like people coming in love it. And the people on Yale's campus, like we like start selling tickets in the fall, but on Yale's campus is very much people know it's in February, so they don't even think about buying a ticket until later. Then when February comes, all you hear, all your friends are like, wait, when is it? Wait, can I get a ticket? Can I get in? Wait, what? So it's definitely exciting.
So what are some of the schools that people are coming from?
One of our big people, we have Seton Hall.
So these are other white schools.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We got Dartmouth comes a lot, Brown comes. We have Georgetown comes. Then we have like things like we have like Dutchess Community College, some of like the SUNY schools. Like it's a lot of different things. Sometimes we even get people like from like schools from Canada. Sometimes we'll get some like really different types of schools. So it varies every year, but like we do have like a core group of like, okay, every year we know that y'all are gonna try to send some students here. So it's like we have consistency, but we also are like, oh, look at this new school that's trying to come.
So what does that make you feel like, Amani, when you see this kind of interest from other Black kids at other schools?
It's really exciting to me. So this year I'm the vice president. Next year I'll be the president.
Whoa!
And so it's like I've already started trying to think about what next year is going to look like, because I'm like, people are so excited to come now. It's like we just always are trying to figure out how can we get better, how can we improve, how can we give you what you're expecting, how can we give you something like an experience that is meaningful to you, and like that because it's been this is the 24th year and people still talk about BSC, so it's very much like I want to make sure that we're living up to like the legacy of this meaningful experience where you can like take a break and really just bond with so many different people and meet so many different people.
Now, do you have an alumni component? Like, do people who were students here or remember coming here when they were students from other schools, do they want to come back? Do they were like, hey, I'd like to check it out again?
Sometimes, I think a lot of times, usually like Yale students that were like on board. So I know that our president from last year, she's working in New York, so she's like, who
was the president last year?
Grace Alofe. So she graduated and she's working in New York now, but I know she wants to come back. Usually it's like Yale students, just because Yale students can come and they know they could just grab a friend and get some housing or something. But right now we don't really have like an alumni thing set up. We're working on expanding certain things like that, because like the generational quality of just Blackness in general is so important.
I mean, you've been doing this, it'll be 25 years. It'd be interesting to hear the folks from the very first conference, Black Solidarity Conference, and what they have to say. Exactly. Because now they would be about my age. So they would be in their 50s, close to, and I'd be interested in hearing what they'd have to say about this.
That's true.
That might be something you could consider for, calling all alumni from back in the day. Have a little thing for them, and just they could have their own little happy hour kind of thing and see what happens.
Right.
I'm not trying to run your program. I'm just like,
how we build.
I'm just interested in that. So how often do you get home?
It's been less and less. Honestly, it's been less and less. I always go home for the winter break. Thanksgiving break, I'm always with my family. Lately, my mom has been like, "Let's travel." That's like her new thing. I was her baby, so now she's like all home alone. So she's always out here adventuring, doing crazy stuff. Like she acting. I'm
probably
new.
About your mama age. Yes,
she brand new, so she likes to travel now.
That's right, because old chicks know how to get it in. Y'all don't know.
And then over the summer, I usually come home for about 2 weeks, but otherwise, I'm trying to explore and do things before I get bills.
That's smart, girl. Travel. You got a passport? I know you do. Yes, get out of the country a little bit, see some of the world, and then that'll give your filmmaking eye a bit more to sort of give you experience. So that'll be good. So I'm excited about this. So is it sold out?
Yes,
the conference
sold out.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna shout out contact Amani for information if you want to go, because you can't go. So all right, so you got some talks going on. And this is a heavy emphasis on mental health, and how to take care and self-care and all those kinds of things.
Right.
And then what else? That's enough, but that really is enough. You got Sweetie performing at Toads,
right,
which is big. And you've got Rebecca Walker as your keynote, which is big. Who was the keynote last year?
Last year we had Janet Mock.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. I wasn't there for it, but I did something for the BSA. They had an alumni thing, and I remember hearing people talk about Janet Mock coming, because they had Joy Reid be their keynote for the BSA celebration. So I was like, okay, all right. So this is a big weekend.
It's a big weekend,
and people are coming in. People start coming in Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
and then things jump off Friday, and then panels. Now, is it open to the public or just students, Yale students and their friends and the people who are coming?
It's just people with tickets. So that's undergraduates,
Okay.
collegiates.
So anybody could buy a ticket.
You have to be at an undergraduate institution.
Oh.
You have to be a student.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, so the school, Yale signs off on this.
Mm-hmm.
You have their blessing.
Mm-hmm. We have their blessing.
Yes. Is it a good thing, or are they helpful? Are they supportive?
It's helpful because we get their insurance. So
okay, girl, say no more. Say no more. Say no more. All right. So 24 years.
24.
Next year you'll be the president.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, is the pressure to make it bigger, bolder, badder than this year?
That's not the pressure, but that's my goal anyway, because that's what I do.
That's so do you already have a theme in mind, or are you toying with a few things?
We're toying with a few things. We're trying to think it out, try to figure out how to build, and we like look at like some of the past themes, and like we want to make sure that we're not trying to repeat too much.
Well, I mean, so you might get a little bit of overflow, you know. So, so how do you all choose who comes to speak as your keynote?
It's usually like a big board decision. So based on our theme, we think about who are like some people that have said important things, or we think have like important insights about this topic. But also try to balance that with like who are people that like people will resonate with, that like what people recognize and say, yo, this is kind of dope. Like I want to listen to this. So we try to balance like visibility, but also with like content and like what's important to hear.
And so this is the biggest event for undergraduate students, Black undergraduate students at white institutions in the country. And so the pressure for that is it's going to be on Yale's campus, inviting people to come to Yale's campus, having places for them to stay, providing food and drink and all the kinds of things, and cool stuff to do, and panels that are of interest. That's a lot. So how many of y'all are in organization?
It's about 20 of us on board. This year we might actually be a little bit less than 20, but we have like different committees, so we feel things differently. Just because everyone's kind of has a specific job. So like a committee one year might have 2 people, another year might have like 3, 4. So the actual number fluctuates, but it's usually around 20.
That's good. That's good. And so have you gone every year since you've been here? And you've enjoyed it?
Oh yes.
And so you enjoyed it so much that you wanted to join it.
I came in, I was on board my freshman year, so every single time I've experienced it, I've been on board.
Because there's a lot that there's a lot of things you can join your freshman year that gets your attention. And so this was a big deal.
It was big for me.
Okay, so tell me a little bit why. Like when you came in, I know you said your parents had some similar experience, and that kind of drew you in a little bit. But what was it your freshman? Because you know your freshman year is a lot going on.
I think it's important to build, and I think that was something I saw like building. Also, I think that I'm just very aware of like a lot of the efforts that I want to do. I want to impact more people than just Yale's campus, and so the Black Solidarity Conference was this way that I could like really like reach out to so many Black campuses and make sure that we're always building. And also it's just like something constructive where it's kind of like a lot of groups are based on like forming social bonds between different people on Yale's campus, which I think is important. And so I'm members of a lot of those groups. But for like leadership, I really wanted to do something that's like, I'm creating this conference, like I'm working on something tangible, something constructive, and then there's going to be this big payoff.
Do white people come to this?
No, they get so confused. They're looking like, what is going on, and who are these Black people on this campus? There's always like someone's like, yeah, my roommate asked this morning what's going on, or they're so confused. But it's funny.
And so they don't say, I'm gonna buy a ticket and come check it out, because y'all won't turn people. I mean, you can't possibly turn people away,
right?
But no one ever says, I want to go.
Never.
Like there's no allied white students who say, you know what,
every once in a while,
Amani is my girl. I'm gonna go check Amani out and what she doing. They don't.
Nope.
I thought there'd be some woke white folks over there who's like, Amani's my girl. I'm gonna go check her out.
They'll sneak us to the concert. I remember maybe it was last year. I was like, okay.
Who was the guest last year? Who was the concert? I forgot.
Deja Loaf.
Oh, I wouldn't know that. So they snuck in for that. So they'll probably sneak in for Sweetie.
Yeah, so it's like they'll sneak into stuff. You might see them at like the after party, because the after party is just like people. If you know someone going, like we're not gonna turn you away. It's the last event, we're just like, I'm done.
Yeah, like come on in, hang out, don't get rowdy, but just have a good time.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that that all these young people, these kids of color, will be on in New Haven, and it's like 800 of y'all.
Crazy.
Looking like Howard.
Crazy.
The weekend when Yale goes black.
Just a few days we get
Just a few days when you're like blackity black. So do you get feedback from people? Like what's the holler back when you after it's over? Like what have you heard last year?
I think people like to give feedback on like certain speakers. So we have so many panels that sometimes there are like panels that people are like, I didn't really like this, or I think that it could have been a better format. A lot of time, like one of our biggest things that we're working on is because we have so many people, trying to make sure that a lot of the talks are balanced. So if we have like a big name talk, so like DeRay has come like a few years and like things like that, a lot of people will go to that talk, and then it'll be very crowded. So like crowd control, I think, is one of our biggest issues, and another reason why we're like looking at how we can try to expand a little bit in some way, just because it can get really crowded when we sell out every ticket. And it's kind of like, okay, that's very valid, and like that's feedback that we usually get. But a lot of times people are just like, even if like during the conference you might have someone come up to you like and say this is this or this is that, by the end they're like, this was amazing, just because like they remember just like the highlights by the end of the weekend.
Wow. So if y'all just tune in, I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy, and this is Lovebabz Lovetalk, and I have Amani Hill from the Black Solidarity Conference at Yale. Yale goes black this weekend. It's gonna look like an HBCU up here, which would be a lot of fun, I think. And so they're celebrating 24 years. 24 years coming to Yale's campus of Black students from other white universities coming together and just being with each other and giving each other support.
Exactly.
Because it ain't easy being on these institution grounds and being black, because we done seen black at Yale, black in your dorm, and black.
Too much.
So when you plan this, do you plan around those kinds of things? Like, this was a big deal at Yale's campus last year, black at Yale. That sister trying to get into her dorm, and this woman is saying, you don't belong here, kind of thing. And
yeah,
that's troubling. I mean, did y'all have lots of conversations about, did that have any impact on why you're talking about mental health for this conference?
I think it definitely indirectly did. I think that it's just like based on the climate and how like that type of stuff happens all the time, and sometimes it gets reported, and sometimes you're just like, oh, my friend just told me this happened to them yesterday, but like what's gonna happen? So I think that the climate, we were definitely, when we were looking at different themes like mental health in some way, some shape, some form, was coming up, just because
take care of yourself.
Hard. Yeah,
gotta take care of yourself.
And I think what we wanted to do is we tried our best to try to keep it positive. And so we said like navigating collective Black trauma and resilience, because while there's like trauma with being Black, we've been so resilient, we can get through a lot of stuff. So that's why we want to focus on, like, instead of saying like trying to like suffer and like looking at our suffering, we're like, no, let's look at how strong we are, how strong we have been, and how much stronger we know we will be in the future. I
was at a Roxanne Gay talk last night. Roxanne Gay in conversation with my friend Claudia Rankin, and she kind of hit on that a little bit about the stress of being Black, a Black woman, and everything that sort of gets hurled at you. And she was talking about it from a place of weight, because she's a tall and big woman, and she's like, everything is always filtered through a lens of weight and fat, being a fat woman, and the toll that it takes on your mental health that you don't even know, because you are in it all the time,
right?
So I don't think anybody ever thinks about that in relation to Black students on these white campuses and what that requires. We're all proud. We are very proud of our sons and daughters who get to these institutions, but we forget that they need a whole lot of support, because this is a whole different world. So how do you take care of yourself, Amani? What do you do?
I set boundaries. I have a lot of boundaries. And I have no problem saying no.
Really?
I think that's been like,
and you're young to understand that.
yeah, I think that just like a lot of my life has been like pressure. And a lot of it has been self-imposed and like what I feel like I'm expected to do and what I'm expected to be able to do. And so kind of getting into Yale, I was like, that was like a result of like so much pressure that I had on myself to always get like certain grades and do all these things. But by the time I got into Yale, I was just kind of like, this wasn't worth it, honestly. Like it wasn't worth it to me just based on my mental health had like taken it just, I had put myself last so long. So coming to Yale, I was just kind of like trying to figure out how exactly what it looks like to put myself first. And I think that like I've had like just a rough time, but like at this point I come first, and I can't, like, it's not like I won't, it's like I cannot like put anything else before myself. So it's very much like if I'm tired, I'm gonna have to say no. If I feel like I don't have any more energy to socialize, no. It's just, I think I've gotten to that point.
Girl, do you know how long it takes? You know how long it takes you know how long it took Black women to get to where you are right now? And that is the hope and the dream that I have for young people, that they get this at your age, that they understand the burden of too much. That is wise, girl. You need to teach a little workshop on that. Get all your little girlfriends together and listen, we got to put ourselves first. And I think if you start from that place, you can't be torn apart as when you graduate and get into the world, right? When you get into the work world, where the demands on your time and your energy will just amp right on up. You know, so talk a little bit about, how did you figure that out for yourself? Did you get therapeutic support? Did you go into did you have therapy? Did you talk to somebody? What your mama say? Like what? Like how did you maneuver those waters?
I think I've just like, especially in like the past year, just been like school is like, there's a lot. I think the culture at Yale is like, you have to always be doing something, and you're expected to always be doing something. And so it's just very overwhelming. And I think like last semester, I just had a lot of stuff going on with my family. So it was like to a point where we're just like, this isn't going to work. And so it was just more so just like one day I was like, oh, this isn't going to work. Like it just was where I was like, just, I'm suffocating. And it was, so I think that really it was just like a choice. I think also just like my spirituality, and just like trying to think like everything will, like, I have all of this stress, but everything will be okay if I let it be okay. And so I feel like if you just put yourself first and you focus on making sure like you can make your own happiness, you can be grateful. If you sit down and like, I like every morning now list, like, don't get out of bed until I make a full list of everything I'm grateful for, just so I can like keep my perspective in the right way. So it's like I can keep putting myself first if I'm always reminding myself everything that I've already done for myself and how far I've already gotten, and like how much, like, if I can just like actually just like put the effort to like love myself, then it kind of, everything falls into place, is what I've kind of seen. So I think it was just like more, it wasn't like therapy or something like that formally. It's just more so been like me like saying I'm going to have to make some type of change, and this is the change that I chose to make.
Wow. Girl, that is so powerful. I'm so, like make some notes here, okay, Babz? Don't get out of bed until you are thoroughly grateful. That's wonderful. Okay, so talk about the spiritualness of what you do at Yale. Do you go to Black church? Because I know there's a Black church component. Or do you go to church? Do you go to synagogue or temple? Or
I usually don't. I think that I have so little time that sometimes it like stresses me out to have to do certain things. So I try to limit the amount of things that I do. So I usually like, but I do the time that I do like to take. I like to just take time like in my room, close my door, and like I like to like meditate or just like sit there with myself, think about what I'm grateful for, journal, write, do something where it's kind of like I'm reflecting and I'm like being thankful, and I'm like trying to like keep my faith of like things will turn out fine, because that's what's going to happen.
And so, Amani, do you feel like there's enough outlets on campus for Black students to for whatever, for mental health support, for social support? I mean, do you feel supported and cared for, and or do you feel like, you know, I have to build this as I go, or I have to?
I definitely think that I've created a lot of like the space that I need to do this and a lot of the outlets that I have. I think that's what a lot of Black students do. And I won't even say that that's necessarily for the lack of support, but instead because once again, like the culture of Yale doesn't prioritize the support. And so even though there are a lot of resources, there are so many resources on Yale's campus, the culture of Yale is to prioritize like your extracurriculars, your academics, everything before that. So it's just like most people don't even get to it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think that the biggest support would definitely be people. We do have like a lot of like just each other, but also like a lot of like Dean Nelson of the Afro American Cultural Center. Shane.
She's good people.
Yeah, like a lot of people where it's just kind of like at the end of the day, if you need to sit down and talk, like who knows more about being black people. Yeah. And so talking to people and just like being honest.
I appreciate that. And talk to some black people because I got black people issues, and I'm gonna go to the black people. It's been a pleasure I've enjoyed talking to you.
It's been fun.
I am hoping that this 24th year of Black Solidarity Conference is a huge success. I cannot wait to see what you do for next year. Girl, you better come back over here and talk to me about next year and who's coming and I'm gonna have to try to sneak in somewhere. I got to just get somewhere and look and see all the black students on Yale's campus and then watch everybody else be like, what is going on? There's so many black people.
Why?
I know that. Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's good. I think this is going to be a good thing. I've enjoyed you, and I want to stay connected to you to hear how you do in your career and in your life and whatever else you do, because you seem to have yourself together.
Thank you.
And I hope you stay in that space.
I'm trying.
Because life can deal us harsh cards, especially black women. So, you know, and I know your mama's proud, And do they live in Ohio still?
Yes.
Okay. So, when does the semester end for you?
I think like May something.
Okay.
Early May.
And so now what do you do? Do you go work somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Do you work in film and television and all that? Or
yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right. Thank you, Amani Hill. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Oh, see, I told you it'd be fun. I want you to come back. I want you to come back so we can talk again about whatever else you want to talk about.
Will do.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brian, thank you for holding it down for me as a producer engineer today. Thank you. I'm going to play us out and play some music, and I'm going to get on out of here because I got to be in the wind. So, and Harry, I'll see you tomorrow. We're back at this. And thank y'all.
When I wake up in the
Hi,
morning,
this is
love,
Babz Rawls Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut.
and
And
the
you're
sunlight
listening
hurts
to
my